Good evening, everyone. Good evening to this. Welcome to this internship program. So, before starting the new session, if you have any doubts regarding the previous one, you can type in the Q&A section. And after a few minutes, we'll start the today's session. If you have questions regarding any previous session as well, you can type in those questions. And these sessions are telecasted on YouTube as well. So if anybody is having issues joining on Zoom, they can watch this on YouTube.
Ayush, we will let you know when we have to submit the assignment and also share the link. Mummy,
You can download the document from that link, and after that you can edit those. Then you will be able to edit. And also we have shared the Skype group. So anybody having issues, they can ask us over the Skype group as well. So I don't think there are more questions, so we can start with today's session, which is about the arrays and data structures. And today's session will be taken by Pushpinder. Pushpinder, you can take over.
Thank you, Akshay. Do let me know when my screen is visible. And also, am I audible?
Yes. Yeah, your screen is visible.
Good evening, everyone. This is Pushpinder Kumar, and today I will be taking the session on array and data structure in IBMI. So before starting the session, let's get into the agenda of today's. So in today's session, we are going to learn about array and data structure. How can we implement? What are the types of array in RPGLE, and what is actually the array, and what are the types of arrays that we use in RPGLE, and then we will dive into the program for each type of array. And after that also we will going to learn about data structure and the various type of data structure that we used in IBMI. And also we will look into the program associated with the types of data structure. So okay. So first, the array. Array in RPGLE. Array is the collection of homogeneous data type. So it means it is a sequence of data type that are of similar type and similar length. And to define a data type, to define a array in IBMI, we use dim keywords uh, in RPGLE. So dim keyword specify that the variable that you have defined is a data type, and also what is the length of that data type. So to access the individual element of an array, we use its index position. But the catch here is that in RPGLE, the index start from first position. Unlike other language, in which if you have learned previously, you have gone into another programming language, you have seen like the array start from position 0. So in RPGLE, it is start from 1. And also there is a special built-in function %elem that is used to get the number of total number of data present in array. Also the types of array. So in IBMI or RPGLE, there are three main types of array that we use. These are compile time array, pre-runtime array, and runtime array. So we will be looking into each of the array in next slides. So the compile time array, it means that the data or element that array has will be loaded into a program whenever we call the program. And, it means that the data will be loaded into the array at the time when we compile the program. So whenever we call the program, it will automatically fetch the data from itself. The value that will be provided into the compile time array will be static. So it means that the value that we have provided in the program, we can't be able to change it unless we made the changes in the object itself. Okay, so the main keyword that we use to declare compile time array are dim and ct data and perrcd. And the declaration that is we have defined the declaration below. You can see the declaration for the compile time arrays. First we write in free format, we have to write the array name, and then we have to define the in S and U section, you have to define that S, and after that we have to define the size and data type and then how many record are in one data. So first we will go into the program itself. Actually, let me know when my green screen is visible. Is it visible?
Yes, green screen is visible.
Okay. So it is a example of a compile time array. So we can see that I have defined the compile time array in free format. So to define the array, first we have to write DCLS, and after that the name of the array. In my case, it is CTARR, and the data type. It is zone 3. So it means that every element in the array is of numeric value with the 3 length. And also here we have defined dim keyword for 10. It means that there are 10 records that can be inserted into the array of 3 length each. Okay, and CT data here refers to that it is a compile time array, and per record means per record 5. It means that whenever we provide the compile time data, so a line in a single line we can insert up to 5 data. So let me do a shift F7. So to define the compile time data, that as I already mentioned, that in a compile time data we provide the static data. So you can see I have provided the data in the program itself. So here you can see I have first to provide the compile time data. First we have to do provide write star star at the position 9. You can see the position is 9th, and after that we have to write CT data, and then we have to write the array name. So CT data, this CT data is here, and after that the array name which is here. So it will automatically bind it with the data to the array. And here I have already defined that our data is of zone 3. So that's why I have provided the value in 3 length, like 001, 002. And I have mentioned that PER RCD is equal to 5. So I can enter up to 5 record in a line. You can see it, so the total number of value that I can write in a single CT data is 15. 3 into 5. The length of the individual element and per record line. So 15 data I can write into that one. Okay, and after that I've just created a number and tried and initialize the number with 1, and after that I have uh, started a loop from 1 to a number of elements. So it will print all the elements one by one. So let's run the program. If I call the program, we can see that it is displaying CTARR1 that have value 0001. Second element has value 002. Third, fourth, just like that. And after all the values are printed, it will just go out of the program. So it will just print 10 records because only 10 records are entered at the runtime. So the main disadvantage in the CTR compile time array is if we have to make any changes in the data. Suppose I want to I want to print only the multiple of 5. So the changes that I am going to made, I have to made into the CT data part of the array. But after I made the changes, it will not reflect until I compile the data, compile the program again. So It means that if I have to made any changes in the compile time data, I have to again compile the whole program and create a new object for that one. So the previous will be override. To overcome that situation, we have another type of array, which is pre-runtime array. So pre-runtime array, what it is it is just like compile time array, but except for the fact that the data that we are required is held externally into a separate file. So the data that is we need to show in the array, or we need to fetch into the array, we don't have to if we have to make the changes, we have to make the changes in a separate program or separate file in which the data is written. So we don't have every time we don't have to compile and override the object every time if we want to make any changes. So the pre-runtime array, we maintain the array element in a separate file, and data is loaded in the array from that array file when the program start executing. So the only difference is in that case, we have to use from file keyword instead of CT data. As you have remembered that in previous program, we have used CT data to write the static data into the array. But here we used, as the data is in a separate file, so we have to mention in which file it is the data is populated. So the array, whenever we are going to mention the file in which the data is written for the array, we have to use fspec with t as file designation entry. So we cannot able to use it in free format. So if we have to use pre-runtime array, then we must have to use fixed format to display the file, sorry, to specify the file that contains the array data. The file that contains the data is open at the program initialization, and also we have to specify the record length for the flat file that contains the data. So here I have initialized, I have displayed the file, how we have to display the file or specify the file that contains the data. So with this fspec, we use int. T means here that it is a table or array file, and also we have to use record length in here. And after that, we have to define a array which is prtarr, and the length of the every element is 15a, and the total number of records in an array is 10, and the file from which we are getting the data is prtff, and the file contains 5 records in a single line. So now move to the green screen. So here you can see I have defined the file here prtff that contains the data that is loaded into the array at whenever I call the program. And here, if we do an F4, we can check. Okay. You can see file designation I have defined as T. So if I do F1 on here, I can see that T stands for array or a table file. So we cannot define it in free format. So that's why free format does not allow file designation. So that's why we have to use it in fixed format only. And record length, we have to mention the record length of the file. And here I have declared the array, which is prtarr, pre-runtime array, and the declaration type is s standalone. And after that, the length of each element is 15, and data type is a. And here I have mentioned keyword dim and form file and per record that I've already explained. So here what it will do, it will just loop. I have declared a variable num, and then I have initiated a loop which will print from first value to the end of the values that is present in the file. So first we can check if there is data in our external file. So I have used a flat file there, which is prtff flat file. Okay. So it is the file that contains the data. Every line has 5 records only, on all the records at the length of 15. So if I call the program here, it will just print all the records one by one. So after that, we will move to the next array. So runtime array. So runtime array are the array that in that we load the element during runtime. So the values are dynamic means that they are created in that program and then initialized and then in that program only. We can provide the data from external file also, but for that we have to use we have to read the file and then populate the data into that array if we want to in that manner. So to declare a runtime array, we just have to use DCLS keyword, and after that the array name, and then the length and type of each element, and after that in dim keyword we write how many element we want in that array, and same with the fixed format uh, declaration also. So let me go into the array runtime. Okay. So here you can see that I have defined the runtime array DCLS RTARR, and each element is of each element in the array is of a character of 15 length, and there are 5 records that can be put into that array, and it is the value. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the value on the runtime whenever I call the program, and after that it will just display those result only. So here I have initialized the value from 1, and then what I'm doing, I'm just entering I'm getting the values from the user itself, and after the user will enter the data, it will just store the 5 data and then display all the data. So here you have already seen that %el is used. It is used to get the total number of values. So the array will be looped from 1 to the last element of the array. So if I call the program, first it will show that enter values in the RTR runtime array. Yeah. And after that, it will ask for the values. Like if I want to type values like ABC. After that, what happened? It just the values are populated into the array itself. So the value that I've got, it is looped from 1 to element dim value of the array, which is 5, and then it will be populated into that array, and then I am going to display the values from that array only. So the first value is ABC, then PQR. So uh, these are the arrays that we used in RPGLE, and after that we will go with the data structures. So what are the data structure? So as I mentioned that the array is the collection of homogeneous data. Means the data in an array is of same length and of same data type. So if we create a array with the data type as numeric, so all the values in the data in that array will be only numeric. So we cannot insert character value in that, and also we cannot change the size of that fields. If we have to change the size, then we have to change the size for all of the individual fields. But what if we want to create a block of area in a program in which I can store multiple variables of multiple data types and length? So for that purpose, we use data structure. So what a data structure is, it is just a heterogeneous collection of data. Means in a data structure there can be a multiple variables or multiple subfields, you can say. They are can be grouped together, and it is not necessary for all the fields to have same type of data and length. So okay, so to declare a data structure in free format, what we use, we just declare it with the dspecs, and then data structure name, and then we have to provide the type as ds, and in that we have to write the subfields like id is of 3s0 and the name. Let me show it into the green screen so it will be more definitive. Okay. If I do an F4 here, you can see that the name of the data structure is myds, and after that declaration type is ds. So this, if I do an F1 here, you can see that ds means that the field that we have, that the name we have written for the variable, it is of type data structure. Okay. And after that, we have to declare the subfields of the data structure. So to declare the subfield, let me show you with an F4. We have to just write the name and then length and then data type. Also, you can notice that I have not declared any declaration type here. But usually, if you have if you have done the programming RPGLE previously, or you have followed the previous session, you have saw that we have whenever we define a variable, we use write s here for a standalone variable. So whenever we declare any data structure and we want to declare its subfields, so in that case, the variable that the subfield, it is not a standalone type. So in that case, we don't have to define any declaration type. So if I can put as much subfield I can want, but if I want to differentiate it, suppose I want to here also I want to use another field which is d of id, and what I do, I just do an F4 and type here id and length of 3 as 0. what is the difference between this ID and this ID? So the ID that I've defined here, it is a part, or you can say subfield of that array data structure, which is my DS. And this one, it is in a standalone variable, so it doesn't belong to this one. So that is how that is the main difference that is used. That is mentioned when we use standalone field or not. Why we use standalone field? Okay, so let me just do it. So what I'm doing here, just let me comment these again. Okay, so the same data structure I have also defined it in free format also. So to initialize a data structure in free format, you have to just use a DCLDS, and after that data structure name, and in that you have to write the subfields name. And at the end of whenever you are done with the subfields, you have to end the data structure with NDS. So after that, the declaration is complete. Then what I've done, I've just initialized the value. Like if I have an ID that I have given the ID as 1, and after that I have given the name is equal to Pushpinder Kumar. So after that, I have just displayed the my DS, which is data structure. So let's run the program. So what will it do? It will just print both of them. So you can see we are getting, we have initialized the value as 1, but we are getting 001. It is because the length of the field ID is of 3. And also you can see I have just displayed the whole data structure, not the individual subfields. So that's why we can see that if all the subfields are continuous in a data structure. So first it is an ID of 3 length, and after that it is the name, which is of I think 15 character, 20 character. So this is how we use data structure. So okay, so there are various type of data structure that we used in IBMI. So the one that I've shown the example is of program described data structure. So apart from that, we have also externally described data structure, and there are 3 special data structure, which are indicator data structure, program status data structure, and file information data structure. For the program described data structure, we have already used in the previous example. So let's get to externally described data structure. So as the name suggests, the data structure, externally described data structure use an externally described structure. So which means that either I can fetch the data structure from a external program, or I can use it from external file. So mainly what we use to define a data structure, externally described data structure, we use ext or ext name keyword in a fully free format. And if we want to use the externally described data structure in fixed format, then we use e in position 22 of a fixed format definition. Also, as the name suggests, it is based on an external file. Mainly uh, we specify a external described data structure on a PF. So let's go to our green screen and see external. Okay. So here you can see that I have defined a externally described data structure. To define that, what we have to do, we have to write DCLDS, then the data structure name, and then I have defined ext name. Ext name here means the external file that from which we are specifying the data structure. So you can see that in this data structure, I have not defined any fields, subfields. So what it will do, it just fetch the subfields from the file itself. So first we can see the file itself, what file I am using. So you can see that the file that I am using is EMPPF, and it has a record format of EMPPFR. And after that, there are three records. One is EMPID, which is of zone and a length of 3. And after there is a EMP name, which is 25A, means it is of character, or you can say alphanumeric, and length is 25. And after that, there is a salary, EMP salary, which is of 6 length, and the type is zoned, and the key is EMP ID. Okay. So let me do a run query also, so we can check if there is any data in that. So yeah, there is 3 data present in the file with the employee ID 100, 101, and 102. So now let's. So we have already saw the data into the file. So suppose what I am going to do. So what happened that this data structure MyDS will be specified from the file EMPPF. So the subfields of these data structures are EMPID, EMP name, and EMPSAL. We have not created those here, but we have specified that the subfields that needs to be get, it is from EMPPF. So if you have paid attention on previous data structure, which is program specified data structure, in which we use the subfield between declaration and NDS. So it is just like same. Okay. And after that, what I'm doing, I'm just initializing some values like 103 in this one. And the EMP name is Steve Rogers, and after that EMP cell. So if I just run the program, then what happened? It just populated in the data structure itself. It will not be shown into the EMPPF physical file, because we have just fetched the subfields from there, but we are not writing the values into the physical file itself. So it is just to fetch the data into that data structure. So let me call the program. Do and let me put it into debug mode to check. So if I call the program here, we can check that it is already fetched the values like EMPID of MyDS. MyDS doesn't have any EMPID, but we have defined that we have already mentioned that the declaration of the program that it will fetch the subfields from the EMPPF file. So these fields are of these fields are of EMPPF file, right? So if I do an F10, what happened? The value will be populated in that one. So we have previously checked that the data is not, there is no data into MyDS. So if I again evaluate the field, then we can check that the field are populated now. Okay. And if we type F10, we can see that the data is there. Okay. Let me do it again. You can see first it will show it is showing the employee ID, which is of length 3, and after that it is showing the name. But you can see a large gap between name and salary, because the field of name is of 25 character, and after that there is 6-digit salary name. So the data that is inside a data structure, it is sequentially added. Okay. Then after there is an indicator data structure. So indicator data structure is mainly used in sub file and display files. So you will be, if you are not familiar with those keywords, you will be learning about them in upcoming sessions. So what happened in those, like you have already familiar with the indicators in that we have already taught you in previous sessions. So indicator is usually defined as a numeric keyword. Like whenever we used any display file or subfile, in that we provide indicator as numeric values. So, but the numeric values are not that much readable to a human. Like if I just write indicator 03, then you will be not able to comprehend what is 03 means or why we are using 03. But in with the help of indicator data structure, what we can do, we can just rename those indicator with the readable name. So for that one, you have to use indara keyword. So indara keyword, indara keyword, it what happened, it will just uh, allows our subfile to have indicator data structure that can rename through which we can rename our indicators. And after that you can see that the file we are using here, dclf sql rpgle. So in that workstation file, I have defined that there is an indicator data structure name of indds1, and then I have written the subfile data here. So in that case, what we are doing, that we have defined the indicator data structure here. Sorry, here dcrds indds1, and after that I have provided the name for all the indicators. So for 03 indicator, I have defined that it is it can be used as exit also. So whenever I use exit, it means that indicator 03 is called. And for the same indicators, we can for the multiple indicators we can use the appropriate name. So whenever any user will be working on that, they can easily understand that why it is what is the function of that indicator if we use the particular name. So through indicator data structure, we can uh, define a rename up to 99 indicator subfile. Okay. After that, there is also a special data structure. This is that is program status data structure. So in program status data structure, what happened, that it is allows us to use the different aspect of a program. Like if you want to know who which user run the program, or on which date he has run the program, what is the name of the job, what is the name of the number of the job. So this kind of thing we can use it, we can fetch using the program status data structure. So to define a program status data structure, we have to use keyword psds in free format and s in the position of 23 in the fixed format. And also in a single module, there can be only one psds available. So first let's check what are the available fields. First let me go to the green screen. Okay, so this is a program status data structure in fixed format. You can see that again. Yes. So if I do an F4 here, you can see, sorry. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So whenever we are trying to define a program status data structure, we used to give the name, and after that in SEU we have to let me. Okay. And in SEU we have to type S, and after that in declaration type we have to use DS. And after that, the field that I've written here, the subfields of the data structure, they are predefined fields. So they all of them have a fixed length and a specific position from which we can fetch the data, and also all of them has a predefined data type. To know about all the fields, we can just go there. These are all the fields that can be used, like from position 1 to 10. It is the name of the procedure, and after that it is status, a routine, parameters. These are all things that is already defined. So all of them, all of the fields that I am using are already predefined. Like if you want to use system name, then you have to use positions 396 to 403. Date length, it is defined the system name. So just like that, I am using only date, username, job name, and job number. So let me again comment it. So below there, it is the declaration of program status data structure in free format. So it is just the same that, but in that case, we have to just write the name, which is predefined, and after that the length and the data type, and after that we have to give the position number. Only in that case, we don't have to write the first and the last position, just the position of the first digit, and after that it will just fetch the data from there. And after that, if I run the program, then it will show me the current date, user, and job name, and the job number. So let me run the program again. So the date is this one. It is in MMDD YYY format. So 18th of July 2023. And after that, the user, which is Pushpinder. And after that, job name and job number. So we can, just like that, we can fetch multiple aspect of the program through a program status data structure. After that, there is a file information data structure. In that one, we can specify the file. We can fetch the file information of a specific file. using the infds keyword. So what happened? Suppose we are using any physical file or any file, and we are getting data like suppose my file is open for read or write from another program. So suppose there is any kind of lock that is applied on that files, and I run my program, and it is getting the error that there is in a lock on your file. So what happened? I just made a program somewhere like this, that if there is no lock, only that in that condition it have to open the program or run the program, or else it will give the error. So I can do what I can do. I can just use file information data structure, and from that I can check the various aspect of that file, like what is the name of the file, if file is open, or end of file is reached, what is the status, what is the record name of the file, screen size of the file. There are multiple things that we can do. We can fetch from the file information data structure. And also to define it, we have to just do a in free format. We have to write dclf. First we have to write the file on which we are trying to use the information data structure. So first we have defined the file, and also we have mentioned that this file is associated with this data structure, this file information data structure. And after that we have to define the define the data structure, and the fields in the data structure are predefined just like the program status data structure. So if I do uh, sorry so if I use file, then in that case it will just show me the file name, and after that it will show me the open status. If it is open, then it is 1, and else it is 0. And if same with the end of file and status. So let me go to the green screen. You can see here that the file is already defined, that it is an external file, and the usage input, and the information data structure that is associated with this file is myds. And here I have mentioned the uh, subfield that I'm going to use. And after that, what I've done, I've just set the pointer to the first record, and after that I've done the reading of that file, and then it will run into a loop and read the file, and after that it will show the record format name, and file name, and open indicator, if it is open or not. You can see that the record format name line is run 3 times, because the data is present in 3 times. But first 2 times I've got the record format name because the data was present in that file, and after that it is not there. So whenever the end of file is reached, it will not show any kind of data for that file. That is why third time it is not populating any record format. And also it is populating the file name and open indicator, because we have opened the file through the program. So that's why it is showing the open indicator as 1. So yeah, that is all from my side. If you have any question, you can just raise your hand and we will allow you to ask the question. Thank you.
Thanks, Pushpinder, for your wonderful session. If anybody has any questions, they can raise their hands.
Good evening, sir. Sir, during declaration, so if the data type is empty, so what does that mean, sir?
Sorry, you are not audible.
Am I audible now, sir?
Yes.
Sir, during a declaration, so if we leave the empty space in the data type, so what does that mean?
Data type is it is a mandatory field. We don't leave it empty because it tells the program whether the declared field is numeric or a character field.
Like in the previous classes, in some instances, we saw that some data field were left blank during the built-in functions whenever we were discussing it.
During the declarations,
Yes.
no, we have to give the data type if we are declaring something. Maybe you have misinterpreted something. You can watch that session again.
During the date built-in function, so they were defining that date and they were not giving
In date, they are giving like L or D or something to tell the program that this is a date field. So neither it is a numeric field nor it is a character field. It is a date field. That is a
and
different data
yeah.
type.
And after that they have initialized that thing. So during that case, they have not declared that data type.
Actually, date use ISO format default by default. So in that case, we don't have to provide the size for that one. And because the IBMI already understand that what kind of field is that and what is the length of that one. And apart from that, whenever we declare any variable, we have to give the length and date type of that variable.
Got it. Thank you. Sir, one more thing, like, so what is the difference between this RPGLE and SQL RPG?
So in SQL RPGL, you can also use the SQL functionality like select and insert and various query from the RPGLE program itself. But to enable your program to use SQL, you have to write the program as type SQL RPGLE because in RPGLE it won't work.
Okay, good. And the things will be same like free format, fixed
Yeah,
format.
everything will be same. Except for that, the SQL RPG allows you to use SQL in your program as well.
Okay, sir. So we need to input the SQL statements.
Yeah, you can. You will be learning about that in upcoming sessions, and then you will be able to understand and grasp about that.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I want to ask about the pre-runtime array. Sir, which external file was used in that array?
It was a flat file. I think I have already covered that flat file in PF and LF session, so you can go through that one. So a flat file is simply a file with a single column and which have the column length exceptionally large, like 100 or maybe uh, more than 50 characters. So it is just like you can see if you have checked a notebook, it has multiple line of one line of large length and didn't have multiple columns. So just like that, it is a flat file. In a single record, we can enter multiple data in that file. And a flat file doesn't have any TDS.
If you have any questions, raise your hands. Otherwise, we'll be winding up the session.
evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Sir, I wanna ask you, sir, why I can't connect in POP 400? I can't able to connect.
So, have you done the process according to the mentioned, according to the session that we have mentioned?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
Okay,
can't
so
get
sometime there are server issue from that side, from when you are not able to access it.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Actually, for PUF 400, you can ping in the Skype group. We can help you there also. You can share your query in that group, or you can try it with a Access Client solution. If the issue is with Mochasoft, then you can use Access Client solution. And if it is PUF 400, you can also get the resolution from there also. Ritvik, you can use Access Client solution if you are not able to use Mochasoft.
I think we are almost on time and there are no more questions. So we can wind up this session. Thank you everyone. Thanks for joining.